I see that we are out protesting, and I've been watching. This is King Harp. I'm back. I see that we are out protesting. We are out now as a people. We are now having an outcry. Excuse me, an outcry of being wrongfully mistreated, being treated with injustice on every end of the country and almost every end of the diaspora. And other countries get involved. We also have white people and brown people, if they want to call themselves, out there with Black Lives Matter and other black people in terms of racism. And we have an outcry. I don't think you know what this looks like. It's a whole outcry. We don't know really what's going to happen, what's going to pour out. But who's receiving all of this injustices? Is it brown people really? Or is it black people? Descendants of slaves in the United States of America. Mostly. People who have been an enslaved group of people that were considered chattel are receiving all of this injustice and eating the failure of a society. And now it hasn't just started, and has been also shaped in a society in terms of how we live and exchange, and therefore no government entity and no protection has to respect us because we're not wealth. And the country and the society have made it that way. It's a government shaping. We are contagious to that which we're supposed to have in terms of a people these days and during these times. This is what's going on. Black people have not been able to receive their constitutional rights in the United States, as far as other countries, maybe so, and have been so as a human right. That's what's going on in terms of black people historically being slaves and chattel for a society and to bring wealth to a society. Now, this is what happens when you are a free slave. Now you got laws that are supposed to protect you, which is our rights are supposed to be protected class citizenship. And with that right, as a protected class, there's no way to do protected class citizenship without doing reparations, because every other group have reparations. And that's why they're protected, because it takes money to protect. If it's a party going on, it's going to take some type of beverage. It's going to take some type of food. You cannot do reparations without giving the incentives of finance. You have to finance this idea. This is protected and connected all together. It would be foolish to try to do it in any other way. And then it becomes intellectual, because there becomes a shaping of people. It is not about you cashing a check and running around with new cars. It's about a shaping. And they have failed to do that for the American Negro, for black people. And this is why black people are being treated with the injustice, being leveled of injustice by the police department and other encounters that are publicly encountering, because they're considering black people a bottom caste and not important. Economically, black people are bottom caste, and we are very rich people historically. We have not get our inheritance that the United States government owe us due to slavery and due to historical disdain and due to our constitutional rights, as a matter of fact, that has been written up for us. And everyone who stepped up for black people are assassinated, including Abraham Lincoln when he had slaves himself, including J.F. Kennedy. You see, this is something that never was corrected. Now, black people are being harmed by police officers and shut out of business. So if black people want to burn down businesses, those are necessarily not white people businesses. Some of those businesses belong to East Indians and other groups who have allowed to be constituents to white people, like the BP gas stations and stuff, and Africans, part of the Igbo tribe also, who sold slaves to the United States. And now they come here to enjoy the wealth that the United States have received free off our backs as slaves, or descendants of slaves, and we are heirs of those people. This is our country. We are not African either way. We are Americans. We are born with all kind of inbred also in this country. Indians, white people, it doesn't matter. Our women will use the bed winch very, very, very frequently. We don't understand slavery. Slavery catapulted to this situation. Slavery as an institution have made this situation, have formed this situation to be what it is. And now we're fighting, and we don't understand the political aim. It's not as prestigious as it should be, but yet I believe in it will be a shaping. The 400 years ended of slavery probably about 6 to a year ago. That's why all this raining down is happening for 400 years of slavery, being in bound, our communities being exploited Crack being thrown in them. Black men funding with crack, selling it or either smoking it. Can't teach them families how to be something. Can't take care of their children, standing on corners, looking half dead because it's being exploited by something big and powerful and major, which is government. And the big form of government is called Democrat. It's the big government and government, period. A society of laws and ideas, an organized criminal. Black people were never given property or protection. We were never given land to excel and to exceed and to exchange in business. This is why we are out here with no importance, because the head won't follow. If the head is the government, the head is the political umbrella, and they have stated and they have said intellectually that black people are not important. They have let everybody use the laws that belong to slaves and the descendants of slaves. The 14th and 15th Amendment, people having birthright citizenship. Now, I do appreciate the momentum of everyone getting together to stand. I'm not God. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I will speak to it, and I'll speak truth to power. You see, the thing about it is we have not been corrected politically. Now, when you correct somebody politically, that definitely states something. That speaks of momentum. That gives a value to a group, and intellectual value also. And what happens is they are forced to actually protect you. They are afraid because you protect wealth, you protect money. The police have the right to do that. They're not going to protect you if you're not any wealth, any money, and you're subservient also to not only white people, but other groups who have been come here to access whiteness in terms of finance and in terms of exchange or community of wealth inside our first world nation, where we have the blood sacrifice in our country, the United States of America. And that guy that was assassinated, Floyd, his family was slaves. He's supposed to be a rich man. He's supposed to have a land. He wasn't supposed to be running around trying to find jobs, working 2 jobs and trying to, he anchored himself. The government he was anchored in had failed him and his legacy. And now they go up and they shoot him for a crime being committed, a nonviolent crime. And he was using money, but they've been using him and his family for many years for money, and mines too. To get out, work for free, being hung on trees. And people say, stop talking about slavery. You sound like a fool. This is why we're in this shape, is because we were never corrected when slavery was turned free. We were never corrected politically. And when we start receiving our constitutional rights and political rights was written up, other groups came here and writing those rights because of white power, who allowed them here for cheaper labor and to demise the experience of the American Negro in terms of us being catapulted into a wealth that we deserve. So here we go. We're shaping around something in a feudalism. We're trapped in shaping around people working for East Indians. Some of y'all work for Mexicans. We ain't got no business working for nobody. According to where we shape and what we did for this society. We are supposed to be people who are exchanging in business with property. People should be asking us, can I put a Walmart over there? And as a family, we're supposed to be trapped in a legacy of power and protection throughout what happened to us as descendants of slaves. And this is why we're fighting, because we're now treated wrong. And the police are arrogant. Let me tell y'all something. A lot of these police are not white people that's hurting black people. It's any police, even black police. It's Latino police. It's all kinds of stuff going on with black people. Other groups come here and access whiteness and claim whiteness and then turn around and try to neglect the American Negro, harm the American Negro, harm the black man in America. We're not talking about no Africans, because y'all know these Africans, I love y'all, but some of y'all slick. Y'all come over here and act pretending, or just coming over here trying to get something. And Africans, a lot of you guys are into tribalism. You're not like us. We were shipped away from there and sold from there by Igbo and other tribes for business. Some of you Africans understand your kingship, just like Obama. When his father was in here, his father went to Harvard University. There were access and power, trading and power on our backs, each country, including some of you Africans. And we're not African. We are descendants of slaves. It's too much in our blood. We've been here 400 years. They have made a people, and we are smart people. And what they did was now it's turning against them in terms of intellect, because now we got a lot of things running through our blood. It ain't just African descent. And what happened is now It's a shaping throughout you trying to trap a person. We help build a society and we help design all the trends that you guys are padding and getting millions and millions and billions of dollars off our entertainment, our fame, our legacy, all kinds of things that reflect our behaviors. You guys are making fame from it and reflecting on it and then pointing in our face and shaping in our face through the public media and through the fourth and fifth branch government, which is television and public media, a very Danish kind of image. And we're receiving that and running around, these black men running around with their pants down, just saying. We've just been exploited. Now, that'll be another conversation because that's exploitation at its best. That, okay, now these people are acting like this. We don't have to respect them. We can just shoot them and kill them. They don't have any importance. They're not acting important. Look at their communities. They were on crack, all exploited by power, white power. People who and other groups, not just white people, by government power, as though you never came out of something as a slave. You got somewhere in the 70s and 60s, we owned the free businesses, and then immigration started coming here. Immigration was the worst thing to happen to black people. Folks don't know that. We were never allowed to be constituents that which had us in captivity, and that was wealth. Not just, I'm not going to say white people, it was wealth that had us in captivity. That was wealth. That was people who put us there, and we never got the exchange in terms of that being an apology. We never received that which we are due to correct us, and now the society look upon us as less than, and they can take our lives, they feel. You see, you got to look at this thing. This is what's going on. Not only put your boots on, put your thinking cap on, because now we really at war. But I don't know if a lot of folks, we need to teach our children and teach our people at the grassroots what this really is. And understanding. And I appreciate the momentum of people fighting. But we got to understand this black people in the United States slave system, you are the one being harmed. You don't see no brown East Indians being harmed. They working in IT. They got houses with 4 and 5 fireplaces hanging out for them. Mexicans got sanctuary city. Mexicans got sanctuary cities. SB 54, the green light something, and all this kind of stuff. Working and got construction sites, having 6, 7 children, getting vouchers. 4 or 5 bedroom house out in California, all in Atlanta. Wake up, people. And white people are definitely not really suffering. But, I appreciate the benevolent tone of a white person because I've known white people personally, even though they're not black people. They can't do nothing about what happened, but some of them are remorseful in terms of that. And I don't mean just saying I'm sorry. I mean in terms of really being remorseful. And some of that white people's in our blood, but yeah, we're descendants of slaves. So look at this thing for real. The white people not suffering. The Jews, they are lawyers. They got satellites in space and they're exchanging. They are the ones running the media. Look at the Italians, the Sicilian gang. They own Bank of America. They own pubs and clubs and all this stuff. They are into power. The Irish was made white. They were into power. Everybody has been corrected except for the descendant of slavery. And that's the ones being hurt and harmed. This ain't about no brown people. This is not about a brown people. This is about descendants of slaves, black people who are suffering by the hands of authority because we have never been reshaped in terms of our disdain, our harm, our abuse that we had to encounter from a society, from a nation. We've never been corrected. So we're constantly trying to fight now. And now I really don't want to see people tear up their own neighborhoods. But if East Indians running those stores over there and black people throwing bricks in there, so be it for me. And they don't know how to treat black people. The Arabs coming over here, getting businesses. It's becoming a chain, an illegal chain, or they're making it legal because it's really illegal what they're doing. And having children on our amendment rights that we now American citizens because of slavery in the 14th, 15th Amendment belong to descendants of slaves. It does not belong to immigrants. And they are running the country. Y'all got to understand what's really going on. And white people ain't the only people shooting black folks and killing them. Trayvon Martin got killed. That man was a Latino or something. And white. That woman, Amber Geiger, all this stuff. All these people, you know, you got to look up some of this stuff and really understand what's going on. Black people have been shaped, descendants of slaves have been shaped into a feudalism by the society, and they have been so harmful to us, they have been taking our lives. And we're shaped in feudalism and subservient to the society that we built. Free labor. We built the richest country in the world. And there's 45 million of us here, probably 50-some million. That are smart people, that are inventions. We did the first successful heart surgery. You can just go on. We got colleges. Everybody going to our HBCUs, taking over our systems, all up inside our organizations. The Congressional Black Caucus. You got Alexandra Cortez running her mouth. You got the Ukrainian lady talking. Ain't nobody got no business speaking inside our historical organization to protect us in terms of politics. Do you know how dangerous that is? That's what's going on with us. We don't have any protection. That's called protected class citizenship. That's a form of reparation that will never give given to us. But other people have it from wearing our lineage. They'll have it from the laws and the morality of government that we forced inside the government because of our disdain and because of the way we live in this country. Other people now benefit from it. Mainly because of the Democrat Party. Because they are called big government. Not because I'm trying to get you to go Republican. When I'm looking at this thing, the truth to power, the Democrat Party is considered big government, filled with Jews. They don't want black people to become equal. Because then they don't, why would they want that? They came from somewhere else and got reparations in somebody else's country. And got protection and all that stuff because those laws were written up. And they use whistleblower terms to access that which was written up for descendants of slaves. And now they got satellites in space. They running the media, making their kids lawyers. The Mexicans coming next. If we don't do something, they running around here living in buffer cities, running construction sites, charging cheaper labor, won't hire nobody. And some of you black people work for them, they'll fire you in a minute. You are still slaves economically. Because we don't understand how to fight necessarily and point to it. The Nation of Islam, I'm wondering where you at because you're the most prestigious group. I'm not in the nation, but we all black people, and it's time for us to fight together. Where is the Nation of Islam? Because you're the most prestigious people. We don't just need you to show up at George Floyd's memorial or his homegoing. We need you to now preach, understand in the street, not just to say you are a better person because you have knowledge, because the nation is very methodical. You're an orderly group, and you're a militant group. So we need to be all on each side. All these black people out here lost, that ain't no part of nothing. They need to understand that we need to hear something from the nation so we can now have the momentum to begin to understand community and reshape ourselves politically. No one else is going to do it. Power is taken, and by unity. And if nation, you want to separate yourself and black people want to separate themselves, then it's the divide and conquer. It will never happen. We're going to get brown people jumping our march so they can get up there and now claim more and now be more protected. This is what's going on. They're co-opting stuff. The Nation of Islam, it's time for you to speak up. Also, and because the black people, that we don't have no real organized groups necessarily. The Nation is one of the most organized black groups I know. Black Panthers was destroyed. I mean, we got now groups coming up. We got ADOS. We got Foundation of Black Americans. We got different kinds of groups we got going on, B1. Well, we need to now understand that it's not about us having 7 to 10 groups. It's about us correcting in terms of a unit, and it's for the greater good of us all. Thank you for joining me.